Today we talk about a device that I think may be getting a little too harsh of treatment because people are expecting it to be associated to a certain genre of devices, and that's smartphones. This smartphone is a little different than most. So maybe we should consider that, acknowledge its strengths, and hope that its weaknesses are fixed over time. That device is the Surface Duo 2. Okay, so we're going to hit specs here real quick. I will leave the full specs in the description below. I don't really want to cover specs on this device. They are up to the standards of all smartphones now. Last generation was definitely behind, but that's been resolved with this generation. It has a Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 processor, has at least 128 gig of storage. You can get an even higher, I believe 256 is an option, and it has 8 gig of RAM. One of the big complaints last year was the cameras. Well, that's been fixed this year. We have a standard, a wide, and a telephoto camera. Are they the leading best cameras? Are they the pixel quality, iPhone quality? No, but Microsoft is actually listening and adding these things that we do really hope to have. But adding features like this to a device that should really be focused more on maybe the mindset of a tablet first, a phone second, limits what the original thought was of this device. And let's talk about that a little bit more once we finish up on specs. FQHD screens, just like previously. The bezels are thinner on the top and the bottom from the previous generation. There is also an internal camera still as well, just like the last generation had. One of the other things that of course this device supports is the new Microsoft Slim 2 pin. This released alongside the new Surface Studio laptop and the Surface Pro 8. So it can be used with this device, and it can also magnetically attach to the device. There's also a case that helps magnetically attach it. A lot has to go into consideration with a new form factor like this. We can't just judge it like a smartphone, expect it to operate more like a smartphone. This is the device that has two totally separate screens. It isn't even like the Fold, which is sitting at the base of my monitor over here. It isn't even like that, where it's still one display. This is two screens. This device doesn't even have an outside screen. So I think we really need to think about why this device exists and really think about Microsoft's product line as a whole. Microsoft, even though they are driven by making products for consumers, they really do heavily focus on business. And being in an organization that I understand Microsoft as a business perspective and focusing on businesses and not just consumers, this device actually makes a lot more sense in the business sector. Why is that? Well, we have to consider, are we using this device as our primary phone? Sure, it can be. It has a SIM card slot. You can use it as your primary phone, but should it really be? Now, Microsoft made this device capable of doing that. You can use it as your main phone, but what we have to consider this device maybe being used preferably for is a companion with your phone. And really, honestly, in my viewpoint, the best companion I could think of is to have like a Pixel 4a, a lower spec phone, where you're driving most of your horsepower processes, multi-processing steps on this device, because with a device like this, you can really take advantage of truly having two apps running at the same time. Even with the Fold, you're splitting the screen and you're not getting this full screen app that feels like you're really operating two separate devices. Sure, because of this crease, if you try to pan a device across both screens, you are likely going to lose content. And what I mean by that is you're likely going to lose text in between in that fold. You're likely going to lose a picture being cut off or a video, etc. Could all of this be fixed with developers fully creating a form factor, a layout that could really utilize it? Absolutely. But this is only one device. Developers aren't going to spend their time to really customize their apps just to work on this device. It's of course got the integrations with Microsoft 365. This is one of the big factors that I think really leverage this as more of a business device because of its integration with Microsoft 365, including Teams and all the Word and Excel applications. This feels more like a device that you would utilize for work processes. Again, I will say you can absolutely use this as a consumer, but we need to think of this device as maybe Microsoft gearing it more towards the business sector. Approximately 8 years ago or so, the Surface Pro laptop released with its foldable hinge, its magnetic keyboard, its stylus. All these things were detachable. At that point, there had been numerous manufacturers that tried this and failed through the years. But ironically, Microsoft did not fail. The Surface Pro is a very well-known portable laptop that is very lightweight and easy to use. We need to consider the Surface 2 being in a form factor similar to that. Some of the negative things with the Duo 2 is the introduction to the camera bump. Now we have two surfaces. We have one side of this device that is completely flat. Now we have this device, or this side over here, that has a ledge on it, has a bump. What is going to happen now if you try to utilize this on a table is you're always going to want to have the camera bump side up. It's not truly universal anymore to where you could use either side laying down. You also, if you bend it all the way back to one side of the screen, there's a gap now. Make this camera module flat to where if it is closed, there's no extra gap between the camera bump and the screens. And there's actual magnets in there as well that keep it in place. So again, Microsoft's engineering on this, and even the hinge in general, is remarkable. But now you've shortcome the device a little bit because of adding these additional cameras. Maybe eventually we can hope for these cameras to still be back on the internal only. But the other thing that comes with that is all the software issues that happened last generation while trying to activate the camera and then flip it around. This one, they have defaulted to a pretty standard camera solution. So when you activate the camera, one side will be your viewfinder and the other side will be where you've taken your recent pictures, so your photo gallery. So you can see them instantly and compare, which is a nice feature to have. But again, you get the bump now. That is my major complaint with it, is just that we've gone from a device almost placed in any type of form factor, from tent mode to laptop mode to one screen mode. That has kind of been a little bit of a shortcoming on second generation now because of this camera bump. There's still some navigational issues occasionally, Sometimes it seems like it's even depends on the developer and their app, or of course you can shift that content to spread across both screens. Now of course, again, if you do that, you'll get something similar to like a cut in the middle of your picture, where we can kind of tell here some of the content is getting shifted off to the other side, and that's not even me playing one of the videos. You get the same thing. You get this split or slice right in the middle of the video that could be a little jarring for some on viewing content. Round this up, I think Microsoft had a lot of strides this year in what they were trying to do with this device. We, as reviewers, as consumers of devices, really need to think about what we are expecting in a device we're purchasing. Several have been disappointed because they're focusing on this device like a regular phone. Again, I do not think it should be judged as a regular phone. This should be judged definitely more like a tablet, because at the end of the day, it's doing more tablet functions. Tablets let you multitask. Laptops let you multitask. Both of those allow you to split screen. These are all things that tablets excel at just because of their screen real estate. This is something you do not have on a 6-inch screen on a phone. So this is where tablets come into play. So I look at this device as a great replacement to a normal tablet. When you think of it as a tablet first, a phone second, you may judge this device a little bit better. I think the second generation of the Duo is much improved from the first. Keep it up, Microsoft. Keep this device around. I'm excited to see how this form factor evolves over time. Till the next video. See you guys.